How's it going, everybody? We are back. We've had a couple live streams. We've got a bit of work done down here in the basement. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over it. I've already gone over part of it. Basically, just working on the ore sorting. And we got a bunch of things ready to get set up. And today, and I also got the water separation electrolyzation thing done here so we can get some potassium hydroxide so we can get batteries. But for today, we need to get a laminator set up. So a laminator is very simple. It's just a steel machine casing, 2 small gears, 4 rods, wrench, and double copper plate. And it is heat based, obviously, since it has that double copper plate on the bottom. And the reason we need this, just in case anybody doesn't already know it, if you look at a wire, here we go, a 1X wire says in it has shapeless recipes with amounts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, meaning you can put them together in any of those shapeless categories. There are a few things that have been done this way. And if you look at a 4X wire, and you look at has shapeless recipes with amounts 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that is to take them apart or to put them together into 8s and so on. Problem is, there is no recipe for turning them into cables. So, like with the 1X here, I can do this, and that will give me a cable. And I can also do that with a 2X. But if I take a 4X and I put it in here, and I put a rubber sheet, no. 2, nope. 3, and we can continually fill this and never get anything. So anything that you want to turn into a cable above 2X, if I remember correctly here, you need a laminator. And one of the things we're going to be doing in the very near future here is setting up an MV battery box. So, and we're doing a large battery box. I'll show you the recipe here for what we're trying to do. So, a large battery box takes a transformer and 2 4X cables and 4 4X wires and 2 circuits tier 2 or whatever tier your box is. So LV would be T1, HV would be T3, so on and so forth. And while we're in here, we can hit R, and there is the recipe that we're trying to do. It doesn't matter if you use rubber sheets or foil, same recipe, same cost, but that's what we're working towards here. So we need to get this set up. And it's not going to be used that much, so I'm just going to throw it right here behind the extruder, which will make it a lot easier to pipe in the gas that needs to be underneath. Let me get a pipe here. And boop. And then we need to wrench it. By the way, I made new wrenches. Made tungsten carbide wrenches. There we go. We now have natural gas in there. And we'll need to put on some chest. Let me fill that back in. And we'll grab a couple silver chests here. Input, output. Probably won't use the input very much. And then we need 2 of these. And we'll just put that in there. And we can use an automatic machine switch on there. Turn it on. And there we go. We have our 2 4x cables we need for our battery box. So we can do this. Grab 2 T2 circuits and our transformer we already have made up. By the way, I have used up almost every bit of aluminum we have. We've got to get vitriol set up soon, or I'm going to have to do some processing of bauxite the way I don't prefer to do it. So now I have my large battery box, and we are going to set it up with a strong boiler, a tungsten burning box. We're using tungsten because it's 100% efficient. It puts out 128 heat units a tick. I could use a regular tungsten or tungsten steel boiler with it. Let's bring up boiler here. So the tungsten 128 heat units in, 256 steam out. Same for the tungsten steel. Both of them are virtually identical. But what I chose to do was go with a steel boiler, which is also 128 heat units a tick, 256 steam out. Virtually the same stats as the tungsten and the tungsten steel. So because we have so much iron, now we don't need to waste tungsten. We can use excess steel. So what we're doing is we're adding on to this by setting up to make MV power, and we're probably not going to get to all of the wiring and stuff. I need to move those. But basically we're going to kind of change this around a little bit. We still want to use this, but it's going to be more of a emergency type of thing. I need to see if I can figure out a way of redstoning it to where this one comes on first. The redstoning is going to be quite interesting how we're doing this, but and I think what we're going to do actually is we're going to move that boiler at least. The machines can stay, they may move a little bit, but I think we're actually going to set it up down here in the basement. We have our red logic for that there, which is probably going to have to move at some point. I will work that out between videos here. But basically this is going to be our setup for burning hydrogen. And if we go upstairs, look at our steel turbine here, it can take 192 steam up to 384. So we're putting out 256 from our strong steel boiler. So that fits right in the middle there. So it's going to give us just somewhere around 64 to 70, 80 maybe. EU, you can do the math. It's just, 66.66% efficiency. I'm not really worried too much about it. As long as it's over 64, we'll be okay. Well, as long as it's over 44, we'll be okay. No. Yeah, 64. As long as it's over 64 or 64 or higher, we're okay. Because we're using an electric dynamo that is MV. So we will have to make sure that it's the right, and that'll be easy to do once I hook it up. If this doesn't turn on once the steam comes in, then we know that it isn't high enough. But I'm not a big, let's do all the math things. I just rather hook it up and see what happens. So the small in-bar pipes are 200 liters a tick. We need 256. So small in-bar will not work for that. We can use steel, but that's 750. That's way more than what we need. Yeah, we're not looking at that either. So let's look up pipes here. And I do believe one of the bronze ones should do. Yeah, regular bronze is 450. So we're going to make a regular bronze, and that will work perfectly fine for that. I've got lots of bronze. So let's go ahead and get this made real quick. And somehow I only grabbed 2. I have no idea why. There we go. Now I got 3. And I finally used all of my matches up, so we are on to the lighter finally. It is great. And I just realized I have no sound, at least in my ears, for the game. Give me one moment and let me make sure everything is okay. Alright, I don't know what I did, but I broke it. I think I know what I did, honestly, but I guess you guys don't need to hear game sounds. There's not a whole lot to hear right now. And who wants to hear a bunch of annoying game sounds when you can listen to my beautiful voice? Alright, so we're going to do that. And we're actually going to do this one this way. So we're going to have that like that. I do believe is how we're going to set this up. And then we'll have the battery box on the top, but we need to check and make sure that we're actually getting the power coming into that dynamo. Some of this may change. I'm going to do a little bit of rearranging of this one and maybe that one. I just wanted to kind of show you guys how I'm planning on setting this up. I'm going to go set up all the hydrogen. This is to burn off hydrogen, in case I overlooked that part. So we're going to make a igniter for this as well. I already made a liquid, or not liquid, a bucket ometer. Somebody asked about this the other day. they were wanting to use a fluidometer for something that was doing a big volume of fluid. Always go with a bucketometer if it's a large volume, because then you have way more numbers. There is the hex setting if you want to try to understand hexadecimal, which will allow you to do more. You just have to do that to change it to hexadecimal. Just a screwdriver on the number part. But this is our hydrogen tank, which is completely full. We also have many machines inside that are full. So we're going to use this to basically read the content of the tank and give us out hydrogen when we need to do it. We're going to have it control a shutter, and we're going to do I guess it's more like a bonus video. It's going to be like a 0.5 video where we do a bit of testing with this to figure out exactly how we're going to set it up. Should be coming out. This will come out on Friday, so that should come out on Monday. And then we'll go through actually getting the next step, which is setting up the batteries and all of that stuff. We are going with the alkaline batteries for this. Let me bring them up here. So the reason why we couldn't do alkaline batteries last time was because we need potassium hydroxide, which we didn't have at the time, so we did lead acid. Just so you know the difference here, lead acid for LV is 64,000 EU. For alkaline, it's 128, so it's double. We could have went with MV lead acid, which is 256, but we're going with alkaline, which is 512. And as you can see from the recipe list there of contained materials, it needs potassium hydroxide dust, carbon or graphite dust, pyrolusite dust, a curved stainless steel plate, a battery alloy plate, a plastic ring, steel wire 1X, and zinc dust. We have everything for this, and then we will be filling it with distilled water, which will do exactly the same way we did the lead acid with a tap on the distilled water tank outside. No reason to use a canning machine for this. I'll probably show that in the 0.5 video, because we will probably get this all set up and figured out there. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys and discuss what we're going to be doing. I'm going to try to make, I really want to move this. I really want to move this wall. I don't really have a place to move it to unless I basically moved it up against this wall. But this is kind of the processing side over here, where this is going to be the more advanced machines and stuff on this side. So maybe leave it there as a divider and put more of the processing things that are going to be needed on that side, and leave the elements and the stuff that gets processed over here. I don't know. If you want, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Previously, I made a separate building for this stuff and did the whole periodic table thing for my elements. We're doing that on the server as well, which leads to a bit of a problem with logistics of trying to get things in and out of the barrels when you don't have room to get into them. And honestly, all of this down here, all of that up there, I don't need to see. The only thing I really need is this line right here, because this is my elements and alloys. So I actually might redo this, and that wouldn't be a bad idea. Now that I'm rubber ducking this with you guys, I could actually move that down here. That would fix some of this piping issue. I could put it like kind of in this area right here. It doesn't have to be in a long straight line like that. I could separate things out a little bit more. I think we might do a live stream for that, so keep an eye out on Saturday. There may be a live stream for moving that around and changing this up a bit, now that I'm thinking about it. And then probably also working on the ore stuff, ore processing a little bit as well. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and work out how I'm gonna change this over, and we'll do that video to see how everything is gonna work with doing the testing of how I want to do the redstone logic for my controller thing for the hydrogen, because we do need hydrogen. We need hydrogen for mainly tungsten processing, but we'll also need it for other things. But we're having it come in constantly from things like the electrolyzer for the persulfites will give it to us. When we do our water separation for oxygen production, we're going to have it coming in from there. So we need to get rid of some of it. We can't just store it indefinitely. And this is like the best way I can come up with for getting rid of it, other than, I know most people say, well, just void it. I don't like to void things. We can use it to make hydrosulfuric acid, which we may end up doing at some point. We did this on the server because we can mix that with sulfur dioxide and get sulfur and water back out. We made a loop on the server for when we didn't need so much sulfuric acid anymore. And there's kind of a possibility that that might be coming true soon, that we might need to do that. So that would take up some of it, but I'm quite sure we probably would still need something like this. So, because we're going to have more things that are going to be bringing in hydrogen very soon. When we do our bathing of, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, when we do our vitriol bathing in sulfuric acid, it's going to put off hydrogen for a lot of the recipes, so we're going to have to get rid of it for that as well. So this is something that currently needs to be done, but it's also preemptive for then. But I think I've rambled enough for today. So have a good one. Take it easy. And I will see you guys next time, hopefully for the stream of changing that stuff over on Saturday, and then the 0.5 video testing on Monday. So, later, guys.